difficult to believe, but I am the senior data scientist at ScraperWiki, and I'm going to talk about scraping humanitarian data for good. By the end of the talk, I may also have worked out how to use the microphone. So we're based in Liverpool, which is 30% cheaper than London, and I don't have to get pressed against people to get into work in the morning. If you see this building on the right, you're right. You're next door to the ScraperWiki offices, so you can always pop in and say hello. We're very friendly. We're working with the UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Aid in order to get them lots of data, because they are interested in lots of data because they have problems. They need to provide aid in places that are having trouble. They have their own internal data. They have data from the ground, but they also have lots of data about background countries. So all of this sort of stuff, and this is the stuff we've been helping them with. When an analyst at a desk in UN OCHA wants to get this type of data, in the past they've had to go around a whole pile of websites. So we've got things like the World Bank, the World Health Organization, Millennium Development Goals indicators, all of this stuff. All of these websites are really good. They present data in a lovely way, but they're in 20 different places. So what we've done is written scrapers that go around these 20 websites and pull that data out. They're in spreadsheets, they're in CSV files, some of them are in HTML, all of this stuff. And actually, they like having their data scraped. I've talked to people at the World Bank, they think it's great. This is data they want you to use, and we've just gone and fetched it. No idea what the next slide is. Oh, we're funneling it all into one place. So this is what scraping's about. It's about aggregating data that's spread around and funneling it into one place. A bit of a violent image, I think. And once we do this with a range of tools. So HTML represents a tree structure, and this gibbon is reminding me about XPath, a very fine query language that helps you swing around the branches of an HTML document. We also have XYPath, which we invented to help us swing around Excel spreadsheets. Everybody knows about regular expressions. They also know that they shouldn't use them to parse HTML. If you go and look on Stack Overflow, there's a fantastic thread on there. We use those to pick patterns out of data. Really useful, a bit cryptic. What's the next slide? It's Crystal Palace. So the next thing we need to do with our data is structure it. So we've got this data from lots of different places. We want to have a uniform schema. And this is what's happened in the Crystal Palace. Paxton designed the Crystal Palace, and it was built in a very fast pace. And the reason for that is it's composed of lots of repeating structural elements. There's only about a dozen components or so involved in this. He's got power from repetition and structuring. And, what's my next slide going to be? This is my modest data slide. We collected 300,000 numbers, which I like to call boutique data. It covers about 200 or so different territories and countries. As you can see, it goes back 50 years. Most of it's more recent. The sorts of things you can do with it, this is really trivial. Mortality rates for women and men. Men die more than women. Well, they don't die more, but they die sooner. The size of the points... and my colleagues in the UN have made better use of the data, to be honest. So they have missions around the world. And this slide is showing you just a quick knock-up illustration of different economic indicators for those countries that have missions. And actually, this area of international aid there's a lot going on with open data here. So the development tracker at DFID, the Department for International Development, a lovely website. It'll tell you all about the aid money that we've spent. And even better, it has this fantastic API, which when you give it a partial query, it tells you what else you can do. This is really great. People still need to scrape this because not everybody can just feed a query into their software and get the data out. But the real problem here is that scraping data off the web is easy. Getting data from a place like this is hard. So the people running this camp, which is, I think, in Chad, they need to know about water, they need to know about food, they need to know what's coming in and what's going out. The UN wants this information so that it can tell how a mission is going. It wants to know this information so that in the future it can do better. But these people here aren't interested in providing neatly formatted data for people to use far away. And so that's the big challenge. How do you get data from those field locations into a usable form that you can look back at in the future and help make your missions better? So there you go, finished.